Are we live? We're live, guys. Hey there. Welcome to Friday.
Hey, guys.
We finally made it. Clayton got his act together over here.
I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. I made it here.
He made it, barely.
Yeah.
He literally just wound a bobbin on his machine 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. So this is a little last minute. Didn't have a lot of time to prepare this week. We were super busy with orders and just everything having to do with leather and SLC. It's been crazy. So I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we're going to do a duffel bag. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
It's going to be beautiful.
All right. Where do we start, Liz?
I think we've got some hairy panels.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Kevin has been super excited about hair-on recently, and so Clayton deemed it in his power to make this a hair-on duffel bag.
If this will appease Kevin, I'll do it. So yeah, we got some great hair-on rugs that we cut this out of. And so this duffel bag is basically constructed of 3 panels, each measuring 12 by 20, a little over 20 inches long, and then 2 12-inch rounders on the ends. So it's a pretty simple construction overall. Takes a little time. I'm betting this is going to be a 2-part thing, but we're going to see how far we get. Now the funny part is Liz designed this duffel bag like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6
years ago?
Long time ago.
It's been a long time.
And then my R&D department put together the pattern pack, which is what they did a great job on. They did four different styles that you can choose from. We're going to be doing style C today.
We've got some bags here.
Yep.
We can talk about them if we want. So this is style D.
This is the canvas version.
This guy. It's all the fun leather trim and pieces here and there. And then we've got style B, I believe, the elite.
Yes.
Fancy guy. He's a little more sophisticated, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. We gave you all the options. This bag can be like redesigned and altered in so many different ways depending on what you want, what your client wants, the different hardware and all sorts of things. So really, the pattern is really just a basis for your creativity to go crazy. So that's what we got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So since we got a lot to do, let's go ahead and get started. So since I'm using hair-on panels, I went ahead and prepped the edge of these panels, and I would love to hear how anybody else preps their hair-on edges. You know, edges you're going to have to glue, wherever you're going to have to do turned-out seams, or you got to put a binding strip on it. So I just went along it with some regular leather contact cement, and went ahead and spread a pretty thick bead, about 1/4 inch wide, all the way across the hair-on on all 4 edges. And this will give me a nice gluing surface, so we're not just trying to stick to hair.
Because that doesn't work too well.
It really doesn't.
No,
it really doesn't.
Grabby.
But that being said, we should have brought, there we go. You can help me out.
I can do things. Look at that.
All right, so we're going to be doing the top edge. One thing, whenever you're working with hair on, you got to be mindful of the hair direction.
Yes.
We don't want the hair to be sticking straight up on the edge of the duffel bag.
I need your help. I loosened it for him.
You can get started. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put some fresh cement along the top edge. Because we're going to be putting a binding strip on this hair.
Top edge. So this is my top edge because the hair goes this way.
Exactly.
Yeah, Clayton's. Don't glue your table, if at all possible.
I do. I got glue all over my table. Got some glue drying on that. So then I've got a couple of binding strips that should be, let's see, here they are, about 20 inches long. Go along this edge. There's your binding strip.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to glue that whole thing?
Yep. So people will put down a piece of paper or something, but...
But we didn't think about that 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. So like I was saying, the great thing is Liz designed this bag. She's made like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them.
A couple of them. You finished one for me.
Maybe I finished one. But now I get to do the video with her narrating. It's just, no pressure.
It's great. No, this is, I don't know how many of you guys have had the pleasure of actually coming to our store. I designed this bag back when we only used to have like half a shop, and it was on the other side of our building where our warehouse is now. And I remember walking into that thing, and I was like, I need to make a bag. But I was like, I don't want to have to cut the panels. And so I just started doing math on some of our pre-cut shapes that we have. And it came out to work that I could just cut a couple 12 by 24s, well, 3 of them, sew them together, and then put some 1-inch circles on the end. And lo and behold, everything matched up, and it made a pretty darn nice duffel bag.
Yeah.
7 years later, we have a pattern.
All right, so on this bag, I decided to use some of our number 5 brass teeth zipper chain. And so you can buy it by the yard. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting off teeth and getting it prepared to put a couple of stops on. I cut it just the length of a single panel, about 20, I think it's 20.4 inches. And I'm gonna cut about, 6 or 7 teeth off each side to get it ready to put my stops on. So watch your eyes.
Yeah, avert. Make sure the coffee cup doesn't get anything in it.
Holy moly, someone's over here.
Yeah, they kind of fly.
Gonna take out Tony.
But yeah, so we'll get a few off that side, and we'll get a few off this side.
It's just easier to sew if those teeth aren't in there. It looks better in the seam. You're not trying to sew over the teeth. So.
Exactly. Take cover.
They really shoot everywhere.
You got a question?
We do. If we're using an oil tan leather, will the hardware chemically react to rust any of it? From Devin.
Oil tan leather? Chrome
Yes.
tan leather? No, it shouldn't. Most of your hardware should be brass, stainless steel, plated. Chrome tan, the chromium salts usually, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Liz, will typically only interact and tarnish like blued steel or...
That is my understanding, yes.
Right.
That really you only have to worry about those chromium salts reacting with anything that's blued is the specific chemical situation.
Let me dig up the ladder. Yeah, and so that's why we always recommend, like on any kind of holster or
Knife sheath.
Yeah, it's just best to avoid it
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, people have been using upholstery or, chrome tan leathers with all sorts of hardware for forever. And it holds up okay. Mostly it's going to be your environment that's going to affect your metal probably more than anything else.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to stick some of these teeth back together and get it ready for my backstop here. Cut just a couple more off that, so watch out.
When are you going to put the zipper on it? Or the pull?
And when,
Don't look, guys.
we will put the pull on it here in just a moment. Basically, we're making a pre-made length zipper. So if you can buy a 20-inch zipper, we sell some pre-made lengths, but they're only in the larger number 10 chain. And so to get a little bit smaller zipper, I'm gonna go ahead and make my own.
Yeah, that number 10 that's a really big zipper. And it would look great. It would go great on the bag. You can use it if that's your preferred choice, but sometimes it can just it's just real hefty. So,
It is. It really is.
yeah.
All right, well, our glue should be about tacked up
I
there.
think so. It looks pretty good.
You think you can bind that edge?
I think so. Let's get this.
So how do you go about it?
I'm going to start with the top and make it look pretty here, and then I'll roll it over to the back.
Do it.
Okay.
We'll see how you do.
Let's see what happens.
I've got faith.
Thanks. Roll my glue up. Actually, you know what I should probably do is measure my center mark.
There you go.
Let's do this like a pro.
I forgot pliers.
Anybody have pliers?
I got it.
Okay, so we have, what do we got? 1 inch. We got a 1 inch strip, so that means I need a 1/2 of an inch here on the good old wing divider. Okay. We're gonna mark our center line.
You know what? Tell anybody, Liz, but I messed up.
Ooh. He can fix it though. I have faith.
We'll see. I should have put my tab on before the backstop. I thought I was doing the fronts.
I'm not gonna lie, that is why I asked you the question.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Good, you got your head in order.
Oh, sorry, guys. You like the back of my head? I got a haircut this week.
Nice little haircut.
All right. There we go. Okay. Got the front on there. Didn't put any glue on the back of my leather. Put some glue now on the back side.
The glue that we're using.
Oh, this.
Yes,
Is
I
this-
know.
So this is basically just like Barge or Masters contact cement, but it's technically Van Grip, which is it's a unique story why we use the Van Grip in the shop as opposed to the Masters or the Barge. We had a shoemaker that used to work for us, and this was his preferred glue, and so we buy it, in a 50-gallon drum or however we buy this, and we use Van Grip in the shop. We pour it into our nice little plastic containers, which you guys can buy from us. And that's what we do there. But it's the same, pretty much the same thing as that Masters and the Barge contact cement. So
Just rubber sealant.
no,
Contact sealant.
Contacts.
yeah, just contact cement. So you once again, Masters or Barge, if you have a contact cement that's a water-based adhesive, that works fine as well. The Renias, which we started carrying a year or so ago, have been super popular. So really, contact cement is a personal preference more than anything else. I tell you what, it's really hard to see.
No, go ahead. I'll switch cameras.
Oh, no, not that. But it's hard, when you're trying to lay down a center line, but you can't see. I guess maybe I could have flipped it over and done it the other way, but once again, a little bit off the tip on this video. Scissors.
Got that one together.
I do. Let me.
Back.
Gotta do the back. Get this one glued. Roll the other one. That zipper is gonna be the end of Clayton.
Oh shit. Fine.
Tried to make all the mistakes here before people started on it. Joshua said he got the pattern and a $20
Oil tan side.
oil tan side.
Nice.
But he came down with a stomach bug, so he's gonna have to wait before he starts trying to put it together.
Yeah, it's no good.
You'll soon be back at it. Okay. Okay. Got both of these glued up. This one should be tacky now and ready to place. So now we're just gonna fold this guy over. Already boring Lola over there. She's sighing at us.
Yeah, they're putting a roof on my house, but she was not very interested in them being on the roof,
I bet.
staring at the ceiling and barking. So I said, "Hey, come in." So she's gonna bark at everybody in here. Her and Clayton are pretty much best friends. Every time she sees him, she just starts growling.
Okay, I'm gonna get a shot of that. Look at that. So we got our bound edge there. Beautiful. Look at that.
Helping with that.
And then he's gonna get this one rolled over.
Yep.
And then I bet. Oh, no, we have to do the zipper next.
Now we'll be putting our panels on.
Oh, right. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Get
Right.
all of our panels.
Gotta get our panels together. Okay. Rolled edge.
Put that on there.
Perfect. So now we're going to attach these guys to
Yep.
our.
Well, we're gonna do our pocket real quick. So in style C,
Stop rushing me. Jeez.
they all have a pocket, right, on the front. This one's got just a different style flap with a button stud closure. I'm gonna go ahead and punch the hole in this for the button stud while we're got it out.
See here. Do
Should be
we?
about 1.5 inches down, just right in the middle. We're gonna wing it.
We should be
Alright,
punching
wing it.
over here. You want me to cut this thing out, or are you gonna glue it up first?
So we're gonna glue it. Yep. We're gonna glue the flap down. Right now, we just need to get this panel
Centered.
Yep, centered and glued along the bottom and taped along the edges.
Okay.
Go ahead and get some tape on there.
Do you want me to glue this piece of veg?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can do that. So we're just providing, because it's a button stud closure that we're using, they need a little bit of support. So we're just gonna glue this piece of veg to our front, our pocket flap, just so it has a little bit of a support to it. Let's see.
Susan Fox was saying she would like a class on this one. So here it is. Here's the class.
Yeah, what you got?
This is it.
Now, if you're local and you wanted to come in and you're struggling with a certain point on it, then, you know, we're happy to kind of help you out there, but I don't think Denny's ready to do a duffel bag class.
Right?
The jar 169-206000.
I think you can just like Google on our website plastic bottle and it should come up.
I'll find them a link.
You're so handy.
When using veg tan leather, what weight would you use?
For the bag?
Yeah. If you're gonna make a full veg.
If I did it full veg, I would use milled veg, because doing anything with turned out seams like this with regular strap veg is going to be kind of tough. But I'd probably do like anywhere around a 4-5 would be pretty good. What do you think, Liz?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty good, because mostly, I mean, if you're using an oil tan leather, you're going to be about that 4 to 5 anyways. That's where you're going to be. So. But yeah, so like if you wanted, this bag would be rather difficult to make out of full veg. It's going to be a little bit harder to get everything to fall right. But, you know, by all means, change out and do like a tooled panel for your pocket and your flap. If you wanted to add some tooled elements to either the oil tan or a hair-on bag.
Exactly.
Ooh, we should have had Denny tool as a pocket.
I know, right?
That would have been awesome with the hair on.
So I just stuck my pocket down on one of my panels. It's going to be the front. Let's see if we can get a shot there. Yeah, okay. So that's going to be the front of the bag. All we do right now is stick it down, and we're going to catch the bottom of this pocket whenever we stitch the panels together.
I think I'm the slowest gluer I've ever met.
A question from more of me or more of like an education thing. Between this glue bottle and the TS Boy, what do you like better?
So the TS Boy is great if you do quite a bit of gluing. I mean, it will keep your glue pretty well, but it's just really handy to have an open glue pot there, and it kind of refills itself, you know. I like these because you can screw the lid on, and if you knock it off the table, it's not going to spill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really the big advantage there.
I've heard of people having their glue start to get a little bit hard in those TS Boys. Dump a little thinner in there.
It'd be hard to shake it up though. With these, you dump some thinner in, you shake it up, you screw the lid on. Can't really shake up those TS Boys.
Or you just lay it back on its side and let it get back into the main container.
There you go.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tape the edges of this. This is going to be our bottom panel. The bottom of the duffel bag.
Handy basting tape again.
Mm-hmm.
You know we sell that in 3/8, Clayton.
I should have got it in 3/8 because we're getting ready to overlap at 3/8 of an inch. This bottom panel is going to overlap this by 3/8 of an inch. And we'll stitch it down.
A little cockeyed on the top, but I think it'll be okay. The veg is not all the way. Is that okay?
Sure.
It'll be fine.
I'm not going to make you take it off right now.
Should I cut this out?
Yeah, go ahead and cut it out.
Cool.
Yeah. Straight edge.
You have rulers behind you too.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay my bottom panel onto my front panel. Like I said, I'm going to overlap this by about 3/8 of an inch. And if you like, just to be safe, you can take like a scratch compass or wing divider, set it at 3/8 and go ahead and mark it. Now, this measurement is going to be pretty important for the overall width of the bag, rather the length around your ends for them to match up. Mark it across the pocket so that we can have a reference. I'm gonna lay it just over that line. All right. Well, while Liz is cutting that out, I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and go ahead and stitch across it.
Does it not stitch into the seam?
Hmm?
Does it stitch into the seam with the handles?
What, the pocket?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sides of the pocket will be stitched whenever you stitch the handles down.
Oh.
Lola. That's the closest you've ever gotten.
Joshua says, are we going to give this bag away like we do with the other live production?
No, it's not up to me.
I don't know if we've decided that yet.
It's a pretty astute observation, though.
It is. We did give away some knives.
Yeah, we gave away 2 knives.
We did.
Stitched on there, I used about an 1/8 inch seam allowance all the way across the bottom. She does not like me.
She doesn't like me either.
So we have quite a few hand stitchers in here, and I think we forget to talk about that. And just for the sake of our videos, we use a sewing machine. But this is possible.
Well, it's not just for the sake of videos.
Clayton doesn't like hand sewing.
I mean, we have the machines around, so hey.
Could you hand sew this project?
You could hand sew this project. It would be a fair bit of hand sewing, but it's certainly possible. It'd just take a little bit of time, and there's plenty of people out there that have the patience for it. I am not there yet.
Sure.
I don't know if I can engrave them in out of the pocket.
That's all right. We're
It'll
on the
be
clock.
fine. Don't get stuck back here. Okay. Got that glued up.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Go ahead and get me a piece of basting tape across
Across the back?
on the finished side. Correct. I'm going to go ahead and be smart and get my button stud in there before I stitch down the sides of this pocket.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
All right, before we put the next panel on, I'm going to go ahead and stitch this this pocket flap on. I think that's going to help us out. We didn't cut my hole yet for the button stud.
I did not.
There you go.
Give a bigger punch.
1/8 inch punch should be okay. We'll do a little longer slit. There you go. Make about a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch long slit. Help it fit over that button stud. Let's see if it's going to work. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to go about 1 inch up from the pocket, and we're going to go ahead and stick that down. Make sure it lines up just so. Make a trip back over to the sewing machine.
Somebody was asking what the item number was for the pattern, and so here we are, guys. We've got 144-20021. That's 144-20021. 20021 is the item number for the pattern pack. And I believe that there's a kit too. So if you don't want to use your own leather and cut out your own parts, but you'd rather just have us do all that for you, you can buy everything pre-cut and ready to assemble.
Yep. The kit comes with our.
Looked like they had a few late joiners. YouTube didn't send out notifications as they were supposed to.
Oh no, we're so sorry, guys. Glad you could join us.
The hardware for all of this, we have a kind of a general idea of price for all the hardware.
Oh, price. I mean, you've got a couple D-rings, you've got some swivel snaps or trigger snaps, depending on what you want to use. The zipper you buy by the yard, and that's pretty cheap. I don't know, maybe $15 at the most in hardware.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
If you want to do solid brass stuff, you might have to be a little bit more, but
Sure.
it's really not too bad. I mean, your biggest expense is going to be the material, because it does take a fair bit of leather. But, all right. Burn our threads.
Just had somebody
I think
pop
we're making good
in,
time.
said they're from South Africa.
Wow, welcome.
Another continent for this week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Denny and I had a lot of Europe, and I think Mexico joined
Canada.
us, and Canada.
Germany.
So kind of train that pocket a little bit. Yeah. I think that'll
We were
work.
going slower, we would probably finish this edge that we've glued those two pieces to, or maybe even stitch that edge since it's 2-ply.
Yeah. You'll see it next week. It's going to be beautiful.
We'll finish her
We'll
out.
fix it all up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stick our other panel on. What? You said you don't know what we're doing here?
I don't know.
This is your bag. I hope I know what I'm doing. That'll be good. So we're going to overlap again 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to have to kind of eyeball it. Since we're using hair on, I can't really mark it very well. Otherwise, I would normally mark a line on my leather at 3/8 of an inch. So this is kind of a guesstimate. All right, back to the sewing machine.
Coming together, guys. The bag is really pretty, it's pretty quick. Depending on the embellishments that you choose to add.
Right.
Or, if you're hand sewing, because that's never a quick endeavor.
It's true.
Let's see. But you didn't get these little prongs bent down all the way on the zipper.
No, I messed up the zipper again.
Did you put the stop upside down?
Yeah.
Sure did. Are you gonna fix it? Or are you gonna leave it?
We're going to have to do something.
We're gonna have to do. Let's see.
Portugal, South Carolina, North Carolina.
All the Carolinas. I don't know about this here, Clayton.
So we didn't stitch around that edge that we put on the back of that pocket. Is that going to be, is the glue enough to hold it, or would we normally?
So it's a pretty dry, I mean, this is just a regular chrome tan, like upholstery type leather. It's pretty dry. With this contact cement or something like Barge's All-Purpose or Masters, it's pretty stinking permanent. If we could tear those layers apart, but it's going to take a lot of that flesh side with it off the chrome tan.
Yeah, it's gonna hold pretty well. I mean, obviously, because there's 2 layers, a stitch will make it a little bit more finished looking. So that's just really your call.
Usually,
Contact cement's gonna hold. Yeah, usually we would.
Usually I would, but again, in a bit of a hurry and for the sake of time. All right, so when I get this on the right side, finish up the zipper.
So he's just putting in the bottom zipper stop on the zipper. So it's just a little bracket with 4 brads that bend in.
Yep.
California, Virginia. We had a question on basting tape. Can we use basting tape on all the seams, or how would that work on the hair-on part?
No, it's going to be tough. I mean, like I said, you really need to prep your hair on with contact cement. That's how I do it, at least. And basically, spreading a thick layer of contact cement on just the hair on, and then letting that cure will give you a surface where you could tape on it, but it's going to be tough whenever you get to putting the ends on the bag.
Yeah.
But the regular canvas and the oil pans that we suggest for the pattern, all of that we could use basting tape.
Again, it's a bit of a challenge. I mean, for me, I don't like to take a lot of risk when I'm making something with this much leather involved.
Right.
And so I'll glue it the best way I know how.
Yeah.
And that's usually roughing your leather, using contact cement, and really getting it sealed on there good. All right, now for these top stops, stick it on the end there, and I guess I'm gonna have to tap them because I forgot to bring a pair of pliers.
Liz, on your knife sheaths, would you ever use basting tape on that?
Sometimes if I'm doing an inlay, I might use some basting tape, but typically I'm always gluing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to tape the welts. Like taping in the welts would not be happy at all, especially when you go to sand and finish it out, because that tape is just gonna come off of the edge whenever you're trying to sand down that edge. Yeah, I don't use basting tape too much.
The leather looks pretty soft. We had a question. Is it soft leather?
It is. It's a nice milled.
Is it the Analux? Is that what it is?
It feels like it, but it's actually an odd lot Kevin found for me.
Okay. So it looks like if you were looking at our Analux chap sides, that's kind of the look and the feel and probably about the thickness that we've got here.
I need a pair of pliers.
Somebody want to get us some pliers? Anything?
Try and do it.
There's so many tools around here. You would think.
Hopefully Tony knows where some are at. All right. You know what I can have you do though? Let's go ahead and have you start gluing in our cording.
Okay, so on this bag we're gonna have a corded this is a
Piping.
corded piping, yeah,
Yes.
piped ends. So we've got our trusty, I'm pretty sure that this is
0.065,
weed eater line.
right?
Just
What-
FYI, guys.
0.065 diameter, item number 332065.
Yes.
And so we also have a 0.95, which is orange. We're gonna go with a little bit smaller one. Just because.
Just cause.
That's what I like. There we go. That'll work.
Suffice. Better than what you had.
This glue could really use a little thinner.
All right, we got our top stops on there. Should be good.
Oh, what'd you say you thought the leather was? Guess I could have got a gauge while I was out there.
So this is an odd lot. I think,
5.6, 4.5.
well, it started out as a 5. Yeah, it's probably about 5 ounce. I'd say a 4.5.
Okay. We have split down all of our, well, not all of it, but a lot of our little accessory pieces here. So for the cording, obviously, you don't want to use 5 ounce leather for your piping. And so we probably split it down to about 1.5 ounces or so.
Just as thin as we can get it.
Yeah.
Jeffrey wants to know on this project or a different project, what would you use other than contact cement? I like Aqualin.
That's still isn't that
What?
still a contact cement?
It still is, but I guess it's
You need to use a
Water.
contact cement whether you want an solvent-based one or a water-based one.
Yeah.
But you're gonna end up with contact cement one way or another.
It's true. You're just really not going to be able to avoid it.
starting to smell pretty contact cement in
Good
here.
stuff.
Solvent.
That's how you know it's working.
This is why leather workers are such happy people, is because they spend all day just sniffing glue.
All right, so I got some half-inch basting tape I just laid down on the back of our bound edge on the top of our hair-on. This is going to stick down our zipper. Let's go ahead and peel one of those off.
Okay, so here's one. Is this my other one?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just going to lay my zipper out flat, tabs out of the way, and make sure it's straight. And we're going to go along and stick it down. Now we're looking to have, once both sides are stuck down, you want to have about a half-inch gap where you see zipper tape. And so that's going to be, I mean, pretty well just enough to get your zipper tab through, but it will make a difference whenever you put your ends on.
Yeah, it's pretty critical that you really take into account all of the seam allowances that we list in the pattern. Because since you're sewing in a tube to a circle, it really lines up quite neatly. You need everything to kind of flange and flare so that you can sew around that whole circle and not have bunching or be too big and then the circle is too small
Right.
for your cylinder.
Fit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is important. If you decide to change things at all, really keeping those seam allowances in mind.
I'm going to stitch this thing twice since we did a bound edge. I'm going to stitch once with a pretty close seam allowance to the edge to make sure I catch the zipper tape. You don't see a lot of that peeling back from the zipper tape. We'll do that first.
Carmen said she just got her order in, so excited to get that for
Awesome.
new projects for the weekend.
Yeah, we've been having this pattern pack on special. It's a great time to get it. It's usually, what's the price going to be on it usually?
That's a great question.
Is it still on sale?
That's a great question. If you keep asking it a couple more times, maybe I'll get to the website. The pattern pack is $9.99 or $7.99 if you are wholesale. And the kit part of it with all the pieces all cut out for you. And the hardware is $119.
Okay.
And that's with the English chestnut, I believe, oil tan.
Yes, that is correct.
So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and stitch this again. And that way our bound edge doesn't lift up off of our hair.
Carmen said she got a ring with the samples on it so she can help pick out her leather whenever she needs it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Or show it to her customers for them to be able to take stuff out as well.
Yeah, those sample rings are great for you guys that are doing custom stuff for people.
Or really just anybody, man. It's hard to buy leather without getting to feel it first, in my opinion.
It is.
Hopefully soon on all these pattern packs we will have it where you're able to download it straight from the website. Don't have to wait for the paper to come in if you have a way to print it.
Yeah, that would be great. This is a big pattern pack, so you probably have to take it somewhere to have it printed. I think it's a 36. The full sheet of the pattern is 36 by 62.
Whew.
And so you probably want to go somewhere like Conchos or FedEx and have them printed for you, but it'd still be better than waiting in the mail for a lot of people, probably.
Liz, what do you got going on there?
I am trying to center this plastic cording as best I can. It is curly. So we are.
Challenge.
It is.
All right, so we got one side of our zipper stitched on there.
Ooh, that looks pretty nice.
The other side.
Like for the kit itself, the duffel bag kit, it doesn't come with the pattern, or does it come with the pattern?
The duffel bag kit?
Yeah.
No, it does not come with a pattern. You still get instructions with it.
You get the instructions. You can take the pieces that you were sent and
And make-
draw a pattern off
Make
of
your
it.
own pattern, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That thread out of there, it's gonna get stuck in one of my seams.
I need some sort of a clipping situation.
There you go.
Thanks. Okay. We've got one of them ready to go.
Did you steal that out of Chris's weed eater?
Yeah. It's fun. So now we're just gonna go through and just fold it down.
All right, so I'm ready to go ahead and stick the other side of my zipper down. This is kind of a challenging part because essentially you're sticking it down and making a tube, right? And so once you stick it down, you're gonna have to sew it. And the big thing here is making sure that you keep an even gap on your zipper tape.
And you want to do this while the zipper is closed so that everything lines up correctly. You don't want to unzip your zipper and try to do it in two different sections, because then whenever you go to zip your zipper back up, it may not be even.
Exactly. So paying attention, trying to keep the side of my bag flush on this side, so we make sure everything's lined up, and going along and just making it as even as you can.
Ray Steele says he's 71 years old and still been doing it a long time. How long you think it? I know we talked about it before, but the hand stitching part of it.
How long do you think it'd take to hand stitch?
Yeah.
I don't know. Liz would probably answer this better than I would. She does a lot of hand stitching compared to me.
Really, so if you decide to hand sew the bag, you will make a lot of decisions because you're hand sewing the bag. So, like doing 2 seams here is probably not gonna be part of your decision, I would think, unless you just really want to do the hair on and then have a bound edge and sew it twice, or 4 times in this situation. So honestly, it depends on how quick you are at hand sewing, but you'd probably have a good couple days worth. The nice thing about the bag is, like, compared to my knife sheaths, those things can be upwards of a 1/2 inch thick. And so I can only punch through with my stitching irons through the first 2 layers maybe. And then I have to literally hand punch every other hole with my awl. But with this, you could probably go through all the layers with your stitching chisel, and you don't have to use an awl as you sew. So that goes quite a bit faster. If you have a 6-prong chisel and you can just punch all those holes real quickly. I don't know, a couple days maybe.
Yeah.
Depending.
All right, so this is kind of the challenging part. As you saw, I turned the bag inside out with my zipper stuck to it. Oh, hi, Lola. I have to get a shot of your dog in here.
She's a little camera shy.
He's a little shy of everything. Not just the camera.
Oh, this is terrible, Clayton.
Yeah.
Who does piping?
A little trickier. Sure you're not gonna peel the zipper tape off or anything. Giving yourself a little room to work.
A nail on it there.
Yeah, it's kind of a finger fight. Come on
As
now.
long as your fingers don't go under the needle, I guess you're all right.
Clayton, did you use basting tape to put that zipper in?
I did.
So, I mean, this is kind of an example of using contact cement versus the basting tape. Basting tape does not hold as well, and so things still kind of want to move around on you, which is one reason that we do try to use glue and contact cement in every situation we can, because it's just a much sturdier hold, and you don't have to worry about your parts kind of moving around on you as much.
Exactly. So, and the fact that trying to glue a nylon zipper tape to the leather is usually not very good.
Yeah, that's not happy. Okay. Got one cord done.
Here, on again.
All right. Hairy bag. Looks pretty cool when it's done.
It is not fun.
It'll shed a little bit whenever you're cutting it. Oops.
We'll go back to you, Liz, doing some piping.
Yeah, so we're just laying this really curly cord down the center as close as we can get to center. Okay. Clip that end off. And start folding it in half.
You're gonna be trapped over there. There she goes.
He just keeps on running in circles from me.
All right, so we successfully made a tube. Let's trim it up.
It's hard to talk and work at the same time, guys. So just getting it done.
That's quite a bit done though in about, we're just over an hour.
Are we already?
Yeah,
Woo!
12:18 now. Let's see, I thought you said attach zipper with it closed, so it's okay once you tack it and sew it, so not to have stretching issues. So you unzipped it to be able to sew that.
Exactly, yeah. So I tacked it down with the basting tape to get it stuck down, and then unzipped it and flipped it inside out to sew it. Right, so we still got a complete tube there, you guys can see. And so that's where our ends are gonna go.
So it doesn't come completely undone because you put the locks on there?
Right.
Exactly. And then you will sew the ends of the zipper into the ends of the bag.
Exactly. So now we have actually got a couple of these zipper end covers.
These are fancy.
Yeah. So these will look pretty good. They're going to line up really nicely with our bound edge on our.
That's definitely a Larissa addition to this pattern. She's so great at all the little details, especially when it came to
Right.
bag making. I was not that sophisticated. I just sewed the seams in and called it a day. Didn't put any zipper ends, stops on my bag. I just sewed everything into the seam. I was like, well, there you go.
So I'm going to take 3 sides of this little rectangle here. You can see what I'm doing. Go ahead and peel those off, and then we'll cover the end of this zipper. Make it look nice and finished once you flip it inside out and the bag's done.
Ray said he hung out with Kevin in the Tandy store in Fargo, North Dakota
Woo!
in the 80s. Hasn't
Awesome.
changed his ways.
So how long do you want to go?
Oh, we're probably pretty close to a stopping point here. And Jay Johnson. So if you guys have any questions, let us know. We'll try to answer them up to this point, and then we can finish it up next week. Is there any reason you didn't use a jacket zipper to prevent the awkwardness of sewing both sides of the zipper, considering the zipper ends would be closed in the seam? Kind of like we did on the travel bag, instead of like having to do the stops maybe.
Oh, sure. Well, I chose to use the little bit heavier duty brass number 5 zipper chain. And so whenever you're trying to sew those into a seam, it can get kind of clunky. And using a sewing machine, I've broken a lot of needles trying to sew over some brass teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take this back over the sewing machine, and I'll go ahead and go over the zipper end. And I think we'll have to do it as far as time.
Yeah, we'll close that zipper, that what you just did there. We'll talk about cover what we did, what we have left, and then we'll shoot again for maybe on Friday next week, Wednesday next week. I'm not sure.
We'll figure it out and let you guys know. a really nice hand, Clayton.
No.
So you're just tacking down that little tab on 2 sides.
Yep.
You don't need to sew the back of it because that's going to get sewn into the seam.
There should be good.
We're not even going to use my cord today.
Nope, not today. We'll get to it next time. All right, so we got the bag together. We got a tube made. So we'll be ready to put on our ends next time. And
do all of our straps.
yep.
Yeah, we're going to do a super fancy strap. We're going to do a hair-on wrapped shoulder strap. So that will be exciting. Some couple techniques that Clayton has managed to do that.
All right.
We've got some fringy tabs.
Fringe tassels to go on the side of it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of a cool little Western feel bag, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's see, Jay had a question here. I'm trying to figure. Or even add the base of the bag after the zipper was completed. Not sure what he means by that.
Add
part.
the base.
Oh,
of
maybe
the
he
bag.
means doing these panels and then sewing the bottom on.
So your zipper on and then sew the bottom part of it together. So maybe make that easier.
You could do that. You're still gonna be sewing a tube at the end of the day.
At some
And
point,
usually-
you're sewing a tube.
Right. And usually doing the zipper, it allows you to actually unzip it, so you're not
Yeah.
working so much inside of here.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing one of these bottom seams and this thing was shut, then you're still gonna be inside of it.
Yeah. One way or the other. It's an inside seam.
Yep.
Anything else?
All right. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Very nice. They're excited. Is the pattern available yet? Will you give that number one more time for
Yeah.
the pattern?
You can just go to our website. It is available. It is 144-20021. 144-20021.
Yeah, if you look at the new items, it should be there. And
Yeah.
also in the link for both of the videos, in the descriptions of the videos, the link should be there.
Yeah. You should
All right.
be able to find it. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.